Hello, problem solvers, and welcome back. Today we're going to continue by looking at another example from Chapter 7, working on the strategy subproblems. So we have another mixture problem today. Here we go. 8 cubic yards of soil that is 50% sand had to be mixed with some soil that is about 10% sand to lower the percentage of sand to 18%. From this action, how many cubic yards of soil with 18% were produced? So we're going to do, and you'll notice if you look carefully at our setup here, it's going to be very similar to the chocolate milk problem that we did yesterday. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a combination of subproblems and guess and check. So basically the headings here of my columns will be my subproblems I'm answering, and then I'm just guessing an amount of soil to be added here. I'm checking that guess with these subproblem questions, and then I'm going to adjust based on whether that guess is too high or too low. So basically, I start with what I know. There are 8 cubic yards of soil, 50% of it is sand, and I guess the other 50% is other stuff, like, I don't know, dirt. I guess maybe you make soil out of sand and dirt. I don't know. But it's partly sand. So I start with how much 50% soil do I have? I have 8 cubic yards. How much of that is sand? Half of it, 50% of it. 50% of 8 is 4. Then I'm just going to guess how much of this 10% soil should I add? How much 10% soil is added? And this is just a guess. I'm going to try the number 5 because why not? Then I figure out how much of that 5 cubic yards is actually sand. Well, it's 10% sand, so I just do 10% of 5 to get that there are 0.5 cubic yards of sand is a part of this. And then I say, okay, how much soil do I now have? I add these two amounts together. So this 8 plus this 5 for a total of 13. And then how much of that soil is sand? Total amount of sand? Well, there were 4 cubic yards of sand and half a cubic yard of sand for a total of 4.5. 4 plus 0.5. And then what percent of that soil is then sand? So it's just 4.5 over 13, which is 34.6%. And that is obviously much too high because I'm trying to make 18% mixture. So I need to add more 10% soil. So I bump that up. And I noticed that that wasn't even close to 18%, so I bumped it up a lot. These two numbers won't change. I'm always starting with 8 cubic yards of 50% soil, which will be 4 cubic yards of sand. But I'm now changing this guess. I'm going to add more, so I'm going to do 20. 10% of that is 2. So that's a total of 8 plus 20 is 28 cubic yards of soil. And 4 plus 2 gives me 6 of cubic yards of that is sand. And 6 out of 28 is 21.4%. So you can see I'm definitely closer to that 18% that I'm shooting for, but I'm still a little bit too high, which means I need to make this number a little bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and try 30 next. Again, these two numbers stay the same. I'm adding 30 cubic yards of 10% soil. 10% of 30 is 3. Then I add 8 plus 30 to get 38. 4 plus 3 to get 7. So it's 7 cubic yards of sand amongst that 38 cubic yards of soil. And 7 out of 38 is 18.4%. So close. I'm still a little bit over, so I do need to raise this a little bit. And oh my gosh, look at that. I guessed 32 and I was right on. So 10% of 32 is 3.2. I add together soil with soil. 8 plus 32 is 40. I add together sand with sand. 4 plus 3.2 is 7.2. And 7.2 out of 40 is 18%. And then make sure you pay attention to what was actually being asked. How many cubic yards of soil with 18% were produced? So where is my final answer? Total amount of soil is right here. So my final answer would be that 40 cubic yards of soil were created when I did this mixture. So that is another example of a mixture problem. You'll notice a lot of similarities with the chocolate milk problem. You can see that basically I had, columns for what I started with, what was added, and then the total amount once those two things were added together, and then a percentage. So in your homework, one of these problems, I think it's number 12 here, is a mixture problem that you're going to try. Please, if you get stuck on anything, send me an email with questions, and please make sure you're actually practicing for number 11, that sub-problem strategy that we've been working on, where you have a question followed by an answer, followed by another question, followed by an answer. For number 12, you'll set up a table like this, where your questions are up here and your answers are below, and you can see, that I'm combining this sub-problems with guess and check, where I then, change my guess based on the previous result. But again, if you have questions on anything, please reach out and let me know what I can help you with.